Super college football tailgates are Paulie's most favorite. And when he does show up at one, his menu's always a hit. His brats and beers will make you cheer. And don't forget the frisket. Super college football tailgates are Paulie's most favorite. Humdillalia, yay, beer pong. Humdillalia, yay, hot dogs. Super college football tailgates are Paulie's most favorite. Just the sound of tapping kicks and singing to a man fit. Smells of fall creamy coleslaw and cider are his respite. Super college football tailgates are Paulie's most favorite.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles and joined by the Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. The dust has settled on the college football landscape, quite literally, in Columbus. And the Ohio State Buckeyes are your national champions. It is said by many that it was their size and strength that gave them the edge over the Oregon Ducks. Paulie, would you agree with that assertion?
Yeah, I've never been an analyst. I just think they played better. I mean, they didn't give up. Their defense was just all over the place. I wouldn't even say they weren't fast. I thought it was quite a bit of an ass kicking other than the 4 Ohio State turnovers. They couldn't even come close to stopping the running back, Zico, what's his name? And you're watching the game and they were down 1 point, and it felt like they were getting their ass kicked and they were down 1 point.
Right. Came back and thumped on him. Well, Dan was all fired up over it. As he said, Urban Meyer brought that speed from the SEC. He was so fired up, so much so that it got Fritzy to give us his an early morning edition of the Fritzy Listen Face. I mean, why are you so dialed in here, Fritzy? What's he saying? Is he talking about being big and fast? Is that what has you?
I guess so. I just was fascinated by Dan's take on last night's game and what caused the Ohio State Buckeyes to dominate the Oregon Ducks when Oregon was favored all along. So that must have been it. I was drawn in.
That's actually not what it was.
That's not what it was. Go ahead. Can I give my take real quick?
Yeah, let's hear your version.
I think Fritzy Listen Face originated late last night. Usually at a late night important sporting event, Fritzy will go to sleep and then try to pretend he watched bits and pieces of the second half the next day. Well, Fritzy did a preemptive text during the fourth quarter to ask who's still awake, to put it out there that he was still awake. And so I think he was looking forward to being called upon about something regarding the game because he would have watched a lot of it.
Actually, no. That's one version of the events. Here's my version. We were going over poll options, and I actually had a really good one over which quarterback would you want to take out of the Final Four. But Fritzy preempted me with a hand raise and said, now, do you think that they're going to go to 6 or 8? And that Listen Face was a reaction to hear Dan's, which is a very good question. Yeah. But I was a little upset because it interrupted my poll flow.
Can I give a third poll flow, first of all? It's great. I have a third theory, actually. Is there any way we can run that tape back again?
Wow.
Because I need you to see Fritzy's face. Now watch here when the angle changes. This guy right here, he's not paying attention at all. He doesn't hear a single word that Dan is saying. He's actually thinking about like low main and softcore. That's like low main and softcore porn face. That's not Listen Face.
If you look at, I hate to ask this because I know that the guys are probably, they don't like to do a lot of work, but if you could roll the tape one more time, I will actually show you in real time when I am the producer of the Box Score saying, check out this Listen Face on Fritzy. You will see it. All right, Fritzy's listening. Here I go.
Now, Colin, you'll probably grin while you're singing.
There we
Little behind scenes, instant messaging. You guys in LA should take a shot of.
There was a beatdown on the gridiron last night, but there was a beatdown in the man cave today. It was Jason Taylor versus McLovin.
Set. Hut!
Oh, that's one.
You did a good job, McLovin.
That was good. That was good. That was a little rough for me.
Now, technique-wise, does a tackle want to turn around and do a 360 and come back?
I don't think you see.
One more play, Dan.
Okay, one more time, real quick.
That was good. You should jump out a little quicker to block me to get out there.
Set.
Call a run play.
You should get out there a little quicker.
Okay. Set. Hut!
Never listen to it again. Never listen to it
You
again.
just crushed.
That worked out quite well. Not quite as much injury as I'm used to, but when I'd never met Jason Taylor before, so I told him about this. He kind of nodded, yeah. And then as we go to break, he goes, "I'm really supposed to hit this guy?" I'm like, I'm not sure what to say here because I tell him really hit this guy. What if he went like 80%? Even as a retired athlete, he could kill you. And so there's always a bit of mystery as how much is the former All-Pro athlete going to give. And McLovin, it was more of a finesse move, luckily for you, but he did get you a nice head tweak up here.
I had a lot of adrenaline going, so I didn't really feel it. But I actually remember once I was actually covering a game. I'm sounding like Mr. B reporter. And it was a Dolphins game, and everybody was shirtless at their locker room.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, Jason Taylor is not big at all. And I remember that coming into today. I'm like, this is the smallest defensive player I've ever seen. So I'm like, I can trash talk this guy and not feel like he's going to kill me. But then when he actually like hit me at like, it was like a wall of muscle coming at me.
Yeah.
That sounds even worse.
And it's fascinating because you've done this a few times now. You've done this before. The difference between like an average human being, like if you try to block me, it's pretty much going to be even in some level. You know,
it's not. There's not like whenever we do something like this, or whenever I do something like with a former NFL player, it feels like this. It's the same feeling as when I pick up my son.
Yes.
And I'm like, throw him around. Yeah, look at my buddy. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm a 4-year-old that's just being.
Did you guys know
wiggled
about
around.
this really before we started doing the Dan Patrick Show? Because I remember when we had the Man Cave built, Tony Siragusa did a show called Man Caves.
Yep.
And you were here for this.
Yeah.
We were on set somewhere, and Tony goes, yeah, isn't that funny? He just slapped me like this. And I was like, Paulie, I think I need to go to the emergency room.
Well, you know, the first time I ever tried anything like this, it was Jim Harbaugh. I used to work for Pro Football Weekly magazine way back when. And Harbaugh was, I think, still a Bear. And I was getting ready to interview some Bears, like sideline Bears. And Jim Harbaugh was standing there, and he's just a very inquisitive guy. And he asked me a couple questions, and we were talking. And I wasn't there to interview him, but since he was the quarterback of the Bears, I asked him questions. And he goes, all right, I got to go get loose. I go, can I catch a couple passes from you? He goes, sure. And he kind of gave me this look like, you know, like, all right. But he had to loosen up his arm.
Yeah.
So he threw him like very easy. I go, can you give me one? I go, give me one. He goes, no, I can't. And he just walked away. Like, I thought he was gonna like, and I can. You see me, I can't catch. And just because I was younger, I couldn't catch back then.
Yeah, with one
I was like,
eye,
I go, can you give me one? And he looks at me and he goes, no, I can't. Like, you can't handle this, boy.
Yeah, I get killed.
That's the first time I tried that thing.
Jason Taylor said trying to sack Big Ben was like trying to bring down a Volkswagen. Seton, what do you think the comparison for Jason Taylor running over McLovin would be?
Running over a moped?
So what kind of car? Yeah, I immediately went Vespa. Actually, is the real story. Probably something in the Prius family, something a little more eco-friendly. I would feel like. It's not really like you're not really an SUV type. But
It would be like, to me, it'd be like running over a ladder. There's lots of stuff you could probably get injured on with McLovin. He's got a lot of elbows and knees.
What are those things that you drive that you stand on and you sort of slowly
Segway.
Probably like those football players when they come through the paper at the beginning of the football game. Well, the boss and Jason Taylor did talk about his career, and the former All-Pro defensive man didn't shy away when Dan asked him about using PEDs.
Were you tempted?
To ever use?
Yeah.
Heck no. First of all, I'm scared of needles. So unless they had it like in a Robitussin form, it wasn't going to work for me. At 240 pounds, I tried for years to put weight on and get to 250. I think I got to like 244. Like I kept trying, and then maybe 2 or 3 years into it, talking to guys that were my teammates like Trace Armstrong and some other guys around the league were like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I was 232 one game in San Francisco. I got food poisoning before the game in San Fran. Went out and had 3 sacks and got player of the week. And I took a lot of pride in that. I was 232. My pants, my game pants were baggy. I had to go down to like a 32 for that game because I had lost so much weight during the week. But I took pride in being that small guy that can go all day.
What kind of defensive end weighs 232 pounds and is a size 32 waist?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely picked the right guy to jack me up today. And I'm Paul, you could have Takia Spikes, you could have all the middle linebackers.
But think if he would have tried it all. There's always that thing in my mind. If he decides to try,
well, he's not gonna...
like when Seton and I blocked Tony Siragusa, and I thought he tried quite a bit in the moment. Like he was not going to let us push him around. Seton and I together are about the same weight as Tony Siragusa. And it was a freaking joke, man.
Oh, it wasn't even close.
But are defensive ends taught to go around the blocker?
Well, okay, now Jerome Bettis, right? We did the same thing that year. I think in Miami, maybe. And me and you were going to try and tackle him or like whatever, right? Stop him. And he was no further. When we started, he was probably just as close as Fritzy is to me. And
He's
I
a
took
little
one
bowling
stop.
ball.
We snapped the ball. I took one step, and he already went by me.
And he wasn't
so
exactly.
I couldn't even have a hand on him.
He wasn't exactly Barry Sanders either.
Yeah, I mean, this is well-retired.
He was
bus.
retired and
he
fat.
went right by me, and then I think you probably got a hand on
He swiped
him,
my hand,
but-
and he left a mark for like 3 days.
This is the same bus that Dan beat in a
Look at us. Look at us like little children grabbing at him. We didn't. If we weren't there, he would have gone the same exact speed.
Right.
It's too
dangerous.
dangerous for you guys. Stick around. Fritzy stands his ground and defends a bad joke.
You don't fire John Fox unless you have somebody in waiting. Fritzy?
I'm not saying anything about the orange and blue team. I'm saying the Raiders should go after Dan Quinn. Why? Just Quinn, baby. You know you like that. You guys can play all the sound effects you want. You know that was good.
You're a stand by it, huh?
Just Quinn, baby.
Yeah, I got you.
We are back here at the box score. Fritzy standing firmly by his joke that didn't go over too well.
Heck yeah.
Paulie, are you glad that he stood up for himself finally?
Yeah, it was a gutsy move. It was a little bit of an obvious joke, but it was funny. And Fritzy's on record first, so in case this guy does get hired by the Raiders, and everyone's gonna say just Quinn, baby. Let me tell you, every single media outlet will use just Quinn, baby. Fritzy's on record going first.
I like what I liked about Fritzy was the delivery. It took like 8 minutes to get the joke out. He built up. He's like, no, I'm going in a different direction.
Because it never takes me a long time to say like one little small thing.
But you had confidence in this.
I loved the confidence. I love you fighting back. You guys can throw in all the sound effects you want. That joke is funny.
Broken glass.
Solid.
Stand by it.
Loved it. Your snarky text last
Jumped
night,
in there.
sticking up for yourself today. A whole new 2015, a whole new Fritzy.
Solid job,
Toughen it
sir.
up.
You guys are always looking for laughs in the man cave, and today you found them from an unlikely source.
Wait. Hold on.
Turn the camera on.
What happened? What happened?
It's like a nest.
Did they forget to start or did they forget to finish?
Did you lose a bet?
Did you partially join the military?
I mean, we've had some bad haircuts in here.
Nick said he didn't want a girlfriend the other day. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. Yeah. Hey, how do I not get a girlfriend? Is that what the haircut's called? Give me the I don't want a girlfriend haircut, please.
Or any female interaction.
It's sort of like when you're out and you see like a dude with like a really bad toupee. That's sort of Nick's haircut right now. Is like the worst toupee you've ever seen.
Yeah, on a 25-year-old.
And man, it didn't even dawn on me until Dan went from his side over to ours and said something to Nick, who's the cameraman you just saw there, and said like, well, you did mess that up, but you sure messed up that haircut, and like. It just went downhill fast from there, and all of a sudden, floodgates opened. It was brutal.
I think Paulie made a nest reference, if I recall correctly.
Oh, once it's open, I mean, Dan
oh yeah.
Paul. It's like Skeecher. Once Dan throws it out there, I'm all in. But Nick's been here like 5 or 6 months now. He's a good guy, but that was ripe for the picking. He and Nick, our cameraman, tried to put on a hat during the break. And,
that was the worst.
And the executive decision came down from all parties that he had to remove the hat.
The very next break, he came in with a hat on.
But now we're in a position, Brock, where Nick's branded himself as the bad, horrendous hair guy. And does he keep it? Because there's, like Lyle Lovett was a decent singer.
Yeah.
But everyone knew Lyle Lovett from his look. And I think this brand is here to stay. And I hope that our DirecTV bosses actually order Nick to keep his hair like this. And I have anything to say about it.
Yeah, that hair got him Julia Roberts, so good for Lyle Lovett. Fritzy, you combine his hair and your hair, you're back to your old David Hasselhoff days. How about this? How about we play a little
I'll tell you.
Who Wore It Better?
Big poofy curly hair memories.
Let's do a who wore it better.
Would you rather have what you have or what Nick's got working on there?
You know what? That particular haircut, I'm going to stick to the very, very
You
little
prefer
hair.
baldness over
You
that?
would prefer to be bald over having Nick's haircut?
That could be fixed.
No, but as is.
No, you got to wear
You
it
have to
that
walk
way.
around like that forever with that hair. I'm good though.
That's a shot. He would choose rampant baldness
He would rather
will,
be bald
over the bird
than
nest.
have Nick's haircut.
I'll throw the cap on and I'm all right.
Wow.
Wow, that's not nice. Hey, let's break down Nick's hairdo here. Let's do a little who wore it better. It's a little side-by-side comparison. This is Nick, and this is Iron Chef. I think it's Nick Forgione. Mark Forgione.
Iron Chef to pounding.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? His is soft. The guy on the right, whoever he is.
Nick looks a little badass with the, because it's shaved on the side.
Yeah, Nick looks like a guy in Shawshank that you wouldn't want a part of.
How about, let's do another one here. How about this Eagles linebacker, Connor Barwin?
Connor Barwin.
Oh, that's a good comparison. That's a good comparison.
What are we thinking here?
Wow, Connor Barwin.
They look like twins.
But at least like he was wearing a football helmet and then took it off. So he's like probably in the middle of a game.
He has an excuse
doing
for it to be a little
something.
messy.
Nick is holding a camera like he's not really doing anything physically.
Connor Barwin also is a monstrous football player who could kill people, so no one's going to say anything to him.
How about something a little bit more gentle? How about a cockatoo? Can we do a Nick and a cockatoo? Sure.
Nice.
Sort of a Beretta reference there. Fritzy, do you think your latest display of strength actually motivated Nick to stand up for himself today?
I think so. I thought he was going to stick up for himself a little more. He accepted the abuse, and I respected that. Sometimes you have to just realize that you're outnumbered and you're going to have to take the blows, and there's just nothing you can say. It's only going to make it worse because it could just come back. Trust me, I know. It's just going to get more and more snarky, and it is what it is. He knew coming into work today, I'm sure, that there was going to be one or many references to the.
Well, then here's a question: as you as a resident punching bag, would you advise Nick to cut his hair or embrace his hair, as bad as it is?
I think he initially.
No, what should he do going forward? Should he cut it this week? Or would that be because?
Oh, and then it'll be because he succumbed to the peer pressure.
Right.
But he can't genuinely like what he sees in the mirror right
Good
now.
point.
He didn't choose for that. Right? He knows it was some kind of accident.
No one with a sight with
I think he gets that fixed for his own sake and not worry about that you guys are going to rib him for saying, oh, you're only doing that because you don't want to get made fun of by us. Because he can't walk around like that for any length of time.
Because that cockatoo reference could stick.
Yeah,
But, I know this room, and Nick loves a cockatoo.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does.
That might be a keeper.
Yeah.
He loves a cockatoo.
All right.
Nick loves a cockatoo.
Stay with us. There's plenty more to come here on the box score. We are back here on the box score. As we all know by now, Ohio State beat Oregon in the first ever college football playoff championship last night, claiming another national title. That can only mean one thing for the guys here on the box score. It's time for a college football pop quiz. We're quizzing guys here on the college football national champions past. It's row versus row, and if one row fumbles, the other one can pick it up and score. And so steal away. First up, the back row, and it's a tough one. In what year did Ohio State win its first national championship?
Ooh.
Going to 8, right? And I remember when Krenzel was the quarterback, 2002 or 3. I remember Woody Hayes won one. So it's sometime before that. Do you remember which team it was?
I don't. You think it's sometime in the 60s or before?
30s, 40s.
30s.
19.
The total wild guess. You want to say 38?
38.
All right, 1938.
That is incorrect. Front row, you can steal.
Can you say the question again, please?
Yes. In what year did Ohio State win its first national championship?
So I didn't know if maybe it was a trick question that this was the first year they won the first national championship.
Oh, was it not called national championship?
Right, maybe it wasn't. It was called like the BCS title game or something.
Now that trick question would not work because it's the college football championship, and Brock didn't phrase it that way.
All right.
So let's go back to
a little time in 1916.
How about 1950? 1952.
You were 10 years off. It was actually 1942 was the correct year. Good guesses on both sides. Front row, you're next. Who is the head coach of Miami's 2001 national championship team?
Coker?
Larry Coker.
Absolutely correct. It was Larry Coker. Back to the back row. Aside from Florida State last year, which non-SEC school was the last to win a BCS national championship?
Whoa, is that a trick question on the Trojans? Off the top of my head, it was USC, right? But let's see. Wait, the last?
He doesn't want us to say USC.
Huh?
Oh, he's playing a little music.
No, it's not that school. It's not that school.
It's a little Michigan music. You want to go USC or?
Oh, USC. Was there a team in between there?
I don't know.
Let's see.
You know what that was?
USC.
Sounded like a
Incorrect. Front row, you can steal.
Now, can you repeat the question again, Broccoli?
Aside from Florida State last year, which non-SEC school was the last to win the BCS National Championship?
And it wasn't US.
Texas.
Teja? Oh, Texas,
dang
they
it!
beat Liner and then fools. Hook 'em.
Horns are hooked. It was Texas in 2005.
Wow, look at you, kid.
I'm not
Look at
looking
you,
at all.
I
kid.
was trying not to give it away.
All right, one more for the
Wink,
front row. Which bowl game was the first to host the BCS championship game in 1998?
Great question.
Not really. That's not a great question.
The
Totally arbitrary.
I think you're right.
Sugar?
I think you're right. Orange Bowl.
Lips like sugar. You are
okay.
Oh,
incorrect.
that we
To
were
the
working
back
that
row.
out. We were working that out. Wow, this is
It's
I'm
orange or Fiesta.
protesting.
Let's go with orange.
We're going to say Orange Bowl.
Probably Fiesta.
Well, you're both incorrect. It was the Fiesta Bowl.
Fiesta.
Fiesta.
Tempe, right? I remember that game.
Sure.
Yeah, Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
Remember when the Cotton Bowl was a thing?
Loved it.
Yeah, sure. Back row, you're up again. Who was the offensive MVP of the 2006 BCS championship game, the year Florida won their first title with Urban Meyer?
Ooh, the offensive MVP. It was a quarterback, right? Leak. Or was it?
Sleep.
No, let's see. Was it?
Front row scrambling things with music.
All right.
T-Bone.
Werfel. That's Werfel, I think.
Let's go with.
Times like this, I like to think of Luke
Let's go with Chris Lee.
chapter.
You are absolutely correct. A delicious vegetable.
Wow.
Please wash the sand out.
I was going to try and steer them
Nice.
religious. to
Front
tea.
row,
Very
last
nice
one. In 1991, the University of Miami shared the national championship with what Pac-10 school?
What year, Broccoli?
91.
1991. Miami shared a national championship with what Pac-10
Oh,
team?
Washington.
Steve Entman and the Washington Huskies?
You are correct, sir.
Nice.
And the winning row is the front row and the ultimate college champ. Good for you guys.
Dominated.
Do not go away. We wrap things up here in the box score with an impromptu challenge.
What'd you expect last night, Gary?
How about this headline? Tempo this.
Tempo this.
Yeah, tempo this. I mean, if you can't block and tackle, what's the thing of hurrying up and running a snap? I mean, Ohio State, they bum rushed them.
How about urban renewal?
There's a good one. You're
Yeah.
creative. That's why you got the big show, I think.
We're closing up shop here in the box score. Gary Danielson got right to it and gave Dan a mock headline for Ohio State's national championship. Let's see if the boys can top the former Detroit Lion great. Here's a quickie version of.
Mock headline Battle Royale.
We're going to do
Lion
two
great.
headlines, one for the actual headline that happened and one that we think should happen. So let's get right to it. First headline, you know what it is? Ohio State beats Oregon in the national championship playoff. Paula, you're up first.
By the way, you called Gary Danielson Lion great. I'd say more like Lion average. I mean, he's a very nice guy. He really knows his football. He's way better quarterback than any of us. Ducks suck and lost to Bucks.
Ducks suck, actually.
Dandy. Seton, can you top that?
Ducks die nasty. Ducks aim high, can't fill Bill. Phil Knight. I tried to go with that.
P-H-I-L?
Aim high, because it's like Duck Dynasty.
There's a lot there.
Yeah. Fritzy.
My coachee has a third ring. It's M-E-Y-E-R.
Vintage?
Okay.
Going back to the 80s a little bit? 70s?
Yeah, sure. 70s. McLovin.
60s.
Get ready. Urban renewal.
That's fresh. I like it. Bonus
Go on,
headline.
Andy.
We're going to give at least act like this has already happened. Ohio State QB Cardale Jones declares for the NFL draft. Fritzy, take it away.
Jones in for the pros, pointing his Cardale toward Chicago. How about that?
Smattering of applause. McLovin.
Cardale Murphy, ? NFL teams hope Ohio State QB exhibits same level of professionalism as former Braves outfielder. Cardale Murphy.
Yeah. Shout out.
I like the punctuation.
Same level of professionalism as former.
Holly.
Fit it in there.
Want to buy a car, Dale? You better go pro.
That's pretty good.
Seat in your headline, please.
Mine's actually a statement, and it is, we ain't come here for no paychecks.
Okay.
This is a tweet. It said, we ain't come here to play school.
Let's give the impromptu mock headline championship belt to Andrew Perloff. For the longest headline of the day. Congratulations.
Bring the belt in.
Thank you.
While you're there patting yourself on the back, Fritzy, you can tell us who's on tomorrow.
Indianapolis Colts punter Pat McAfee, who beat my Denver Broncos, not personally, but part of that team. Right?
Seahawks long snapper.
And we'll also have Rich Eisen of the NFL Network and working on some other things as we speak.
In the audience.
Oh, his wife Susie Schuster just hosted the show before us. That's fantastic. All right, thanks for watching The Box Score. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on Audience Channel 239, or if you're on the go, the podcast is available on iTunes or at podcast1.com. Congrats, Buckeyes.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!